Welcome back. We had the chance to visit with a health and wellness expert with his tips about how to keep you and your loved ones healthy through these festivities. This sponsored by Moderna. Check it out.
The holiday season is a time for reconnecting and celebrating with family and friends, but between all the travel, gatherings, and festivities, it's also important to stay healthy and avoid any bugs that might put a damper on your plans.
Joining us today to share tips on staying protected this season is Dr. Reed B. Tuckson, an expert in health and wellness. Welcome, Dr. Tuckson. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes. So let's kick it off with this. What can people do to stay healthy during the holidays?
Well, the thing, we know that there's a lot of respiratory diseases circulating around, whether it's the pneumonia, the RSV, the flu, or as we're now discussing COVID. So we have to be prepared to prevent. The holiday season, colder weather means more intimate indoor contact. That means that viral diseases like COVID, they spread more easily. We cough, we sneeze, we transmit particles so much more easily. And also, as we know, the COVID virus has not gone away. It continues to mutate. So I'm here to pleased to partner with Moderna to help inform people about making personally COVID vaccinating decisions. And here's the bottom line. The overwhelming majority of health professionals and scientists really are urging everyone 6 months and over, get the updated COVID vaccine now before the holiday season begins.
Yeah, that's advice right there. How long does that vaccine immunity last?
We've had experience now with more than 655 million doses administered. The data is clear that the vaccines are effective and that they're safe, but we also know that the vaccine protection can wane over time. And so based on everything that we now know, these new vaccines should last for 6 months. And that's really the guidance we need. However, those who are 65 and older and those who have immune compromising diseases, they may want to talk with their health professional to get more frequent doses to make sure they're protected throughout the winter.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of information, maybe a lot of misinformation out there as well. So I'm curious from your advice here, if someone has recently had COVID, do they still need the updated vaccine?
Very clearly, yes. Even though they've had some protection from having had the summer disease, that they still will note that will wane pretty rapidly and they will be at risk as the winter goes on. So the recommendation is very specific. 90 days from when you received your positive test or 90 days from the start of your symptoms, you should go ahead and get vaccinated to take you through the rest of the winter.
Okay,
good.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Who do you think should be the most mindful about protecting themselves this season?
The saddest thing about this disease to me is how it affects those who are 65 and older. Our seniors are so much at risk. 60% of all the COVID-related hospitalizations were in the 65 and over. But here's the deal. Last year, 90% of the deaths were in that community. So that's really where we've got to focus so much energy. But there are also 3 in 4 adults living with this underlying immunocompromising diseases, whether it's chronic kidney disease, lung disease, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment. They also need to be especially attentive to getting vaccinated.
Okay.
Now, we've heard the term long COVID,
right? Yeah.
But can you maybe explain what that is and how we can reduce the risk of that?
It is really confusing, and the reason it's confusing is because the COVID virus attacks so many different parts of the body, and so it manifests itself in so many different ways. If you have a person who's had the disease and you're feeling long-term symptoms, brain fog, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, exhaustion, chest pain, and other kinds of symptoms that have lasted for 3 months after you have had the initial infection, we consider that to be long COVID. The best way to prevent this terrible problem of long COVID is not to get COVID. The best way not to get COVID, get vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I see how it works.
Exactly. Well, where can we find more info on staying healthy?
The place that I would recommend you go is to vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov. Another place is disease.education/finder. Disease.education/finder.